Hello, and thanks for joining me for this episode of NCIA Today. I'm your host, Bethany Moore, NCIA's Director of Communications, checking in with you regularly with updates on what's happening in the cannabis industry and here at NCIA. 2023 is in full swing, so we've got a lot to cover in this episode. Let's begin with the latest news from the Food and Drug Administration. At the end of January, the FDA announced that it is concluded that regulations governing food and supplements would not be appropriate for CBD products, and that the agency intends to work with Congress to develop a new way forward. While this is another disappointing, sad trombone sort of moment, there's hope that this will add pressure on Congress to take the task of sensibly regulating cannabis and CBD products seriously. NCIA's CEO and co-founder Aaron Smith stated, "A vibrant state-regulated industry has formed to safely provide cannabinoid products and medicines to millions of Americans, which has the support of the vast majority of U.S. voters. Moving forward with bipartisan federal cannabis reform this year would be both good public health policy and good politics." This announcement is also a great opportunity to point out a relevant resource from our Policy Council. In 2019, NCIA published the white paper called Adapting a Regulatory Framework for the Emerging Cannabis Industry, which outlined recommendations for 4 regulatory lanes for cannabis products, including CBD and other non-psychoactive cannabinoids. Next, in the latest update from Michelle on our government relations team, we take a look at some of the latest cannabis and policy news coming out of Washington, D.C. When a new Congress begins, all legislation from the last session must be reintroduced and start from scratch again in the legislative process. Over the last few weeks, several cannabis bills have been reintroduced. 2 of those bills were the Veterans Cannabis Use for Safe Healing Act and the Marijuana 1 to 3 Act. The Marijuana 1 to 3 Act would reschedule cannabis to Schedule 3, a reform that would not resolve the federal conflict with the vast majority of state laws with some form of legal cannabis. Learn more about that bill and more in Michelle's latest blog. At the end of last month, we kicked off our event calendar with an industry social in San Francisco and then gathered in Los Angeles. And we're continuing on to almost a dozen other cities across the country, including a cannabis caucus in Colorado. These events are all about cultivating regional communities of industry professionals so that they can connect and learn from each other in a fun, relaxed cocktail hour setting, and they're all leading up to our 11th annual Cannabis Industry Lobby Days in May. If you haven't booked your travel and lodging in Washington, D.C. yet for the most exciting and important event, here's your friendly reminder to start checking out flights and hotels or Airbnbs now. As always, NCIA members receive complimentary access to industry socials and the Cannabis Caucus based on membership level. Tickets for industry socials are available for $50 for non-members, but prices go up on the day of the event. So check out the full calendar of events because now's a great time to register your team to attend, and there's still time to check out our sponsorship opportunities for all of these events, plus lobby days. Head to our website to register and fill out the form for sponsorship opportunities, or just send an email to sponsorship@thecannabisindustry.org for more details. I also want to take a few minutes to go over some of the interesting content we've published recently on our website, including updates from NCIA's government relations team in DC, from our committees, and from our members. In a blog by MyFlora DNA, we learned more about the importance of genetic studies for identifying plant mutations, and how genetic studies of cannabis have played a crucial role in the industry by providing growers with more advanced tools and techniques. Take an even deeper dive on our blog and check out the recent podcast with My Flora DNA's CEO, Angel Fernandez. You can listen on our website or on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Next, we heard from Gary Straley of Cannabis Cloud to explore the confusing world of cannabis payment processing, which continues to cause complications and headaches for cannabis operators. In his blog, Dude, Where's My Payments?, he breaks down some benefits and risks of various methods of payment processing. I also spoke with Gary on our weekly podcast, taking an even deeper dive into this topic of the complexities of payment processing in our industry, so I encourage you to listen to that episode as well. Next, the Vice Chair of NCIA's Board of Directors, Chris Jackson, wrote a blog about the importance of advancing diversity and inclusion within the cannabis industry, as well as how NCIA raised enough money to help 6 members of our DEI delegation with travel to DC last September. We aim to at least double that number in 2023 with your help, so learn more about our DEI sponsorship program in this recent blog. You can hear more from Chris directly on the latest episode of Cannabis Minority Report with Mike Lamuto, available on our YouTube and LinkedIn and wherever you listen to your other podcasts. Our Facilities Design Committee has been working hard to provide useful technical information for our members on how to improve energy efficiencies without introducing a negative impact to the grow environment. In their most recent committee blog article, they examined 2 ways you can optimize HVACD systems to improve energy efficiency in your cultivation facility. And I think we can agree that saving on costs wherever we can is certainly a win. Next, the cannabis industry's most accessible award program returns in 2023. NCIA's Best of 420 Awards sets the standard for top creative work. Originally launched in 2021, it was a digital event for NCIA members, highlighting each brand's marketing efforts in a very challenging year. Last year, the Best of 420 Awards partnered with the prestigious Clio Cannabis Awards live in Las Vegas. For this year, head to the blog to read about 10 tips for winning campaigns. Last but not least, we also heard about retail dispensary space design from Sungrown Studios in a recent blog about 3 main types of designs, the pros and cons of each, and how each specific layout drives customer experience, plus how tech is integrated. Head to our website to read more. As we begin to wrap up this episode, be sure to check out our podcast, NCIA's Industry Voice, as well as NCIA's Cannabis Minority Report, hosted by Mike Lamuto, on podcast streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Please hit that subscribe button too while you're at it, and thank you for listening. Also, check out our Industry Essentials webinar schedule for more virtual learning opportunities. NCIA's educational webinars are brought to you with the insight and expertise of NCIA members, NCIA staff, as well as regulatory and legal experts. If you're an NCIA member, reach out to me to learn how you can contribute educational content for our website and newsletter, or pitching to be a guest on our podcast. Please send me an email to get the ball rolling, bethany@thecannabisindustry.org. As always, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram to stay inspired and connected. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.